Fez first.
Okay, so there's a theme this week. RJ is always like, Fez, you like to follow the sharp money. The market's moving. You like to get on that. So we are fading the market on a couple picks here.
Ooh.
I am going with the New England Patriots.
Uh-oh.
Excuse me, correction. I'm going against the New England Patriot move. I am on the Washington football team.
Hold on a second. Did he have that before I sent it to you?
He did.
Yeah. Are you sure?
Yep.
All right, I believe.
In fact, we all have this. This is a quadruple like. It's a 5-weight for you. It's a 5-weight for Fezzik. It's a 4-weight for AJ. And a 3-weight for me.
AJ, how do you decide which of our picks to copy and win? I mean, like, maybe we need to figure out how he's handicapping us, Fez.
What you guys got to figure out is how the heck this line got to 3.5. I don't understand it. So I almost have to make this my best bet, and here's why. The line on Monday was 2.5. New England was laying 2.5, and I was like, yeah, that's right. I've got these teams 1 point apart.
But you don't understand why the line moved?
I am having.
You saw the trading deadline, right?
I saw the trading deadline when Washington jettisoned their stud defender. Sure,
two D linemen. So people are looking at this like it's a fire sale. Mm-hmm. I mean, the thought was there was one that was going to get sent, and sending both made it seem like, wow, they're giving up on the year. I don't think that's the right conclusion, but I do think that's the perception.
I think that's the perception. And you've nailed this. You've spoken about it doesn't really matter what the organization's doing. The players all play hard. That's the bottom line each and every week. And I tell you this, as much as this could hurt Washington, this New England cluster injuries from their wide receivers, Bourne, their number one receiver, being out for the year, that's a big deal as well. Mm-hmm. And who is New England? New England's no good. If you look in terms of just numerics, I mean, New England's 1 point better than Washington. At most, I could say they're 2 points better, and that would be beyond a leap of faith. I could see it getting to 3, but 3.5. New England can't score. New England has no offense. Washington has a solid offense.
All right, so let's agree. What's the total in this game?
Total, I have that all. 1 second.
40.5.
All right, so generally 41's a key number, generally a low-scoring game. We've got a situation where I believe that if they sent both of those linemen out of town, with Young especially, I think there was probably some attitude. There was probably a little disgruntledness in the locker room.
Yeah.
And I also think that they must believe they have young players that are going to be able to step up and now chomping at the bit for the opportunity.
And oftentimes when your big name players leave, the very best output is the first game after.
I agree. It's almost like an injury. Everyone wants to step up. Everyone wants to slide into that role that could. So I think, one, this doesn't mean anything about trying to win. And two, I don't think the practical effect is all that significant on the field. The D wasn't that good anyway for Washington. So I don't know how it could get much worse.
That's a good point. And Washington, here's a team that just the breaks haven't gone their way. They played Philly equal in both their games. Mm-hmm. They lost 2 close games. They played a bad game against the Giants, but they were right there in that game where they could have won, but they didn't. They should have.
And that's right around when the Giants almost beat Buffalo. I mean, the Giants are playing better.
Yeah.
Until the injury.
So, the bottom, I'm not even confident New England's better. Now they're laying 3.5, and I get it. People are listening to the pod like, oh, Fezzik, don't you know that this guy and that guy and all these sharp money is all over New England? No, incorrect. They're on New England minus 2.5. I'm not taking Washington plus 2.5. I'm taking them plus 3.5. And 10% of the time, approximately, New England will win this game by exactly 3. So absolutely, give me Washington plus 3.5.
So there's one point here that this game trumps, or doesn't trump it, but it supersedes it. But it's an important point. Is if someone lays, the Fez is right, whatever the prior number was the last bet in theory that was sharp if there's a sharp move. So 2.5 became 3, and then people said, you know what? At 3, I'm still willing to bet it. And they bet it up to 3.5. Okay. Now, so the last sharp bet was on New England 3. But you could make the case the sharper money is going to be, in fact, you don't make the case. It's objectively true. The sharper money is going to be the 2.5. Now, the difference between 2.5 and 3.5 is about 20 cents.
Yes.
Right? Well, it's 20 cents on the 3, then 20 cents on the 3.5. So there's been a 40-cent move. minus 2.5 and plus 3.5 can both be profitable. And in fact, both are if the line should be 3.
Right. So like the minus 2.5, let's say that's a really rock solid. We rarely see this. Let's say that's a rock solid 57% bet. I mean,
Okay.
that's a really good bet to get on an NFL side, right? With some good
Oh,
volume.
it's even impossible in theory
okay.
over the long run.
Right. So if that, but you know what? Let's say it's a 57% bet. Let's assume
Okay.
the market just blew it.
All right.
All right, great. Now it's a 47% bet. Okay, because 10% of the time, that's you cannot argue with that. 10%.
So even if it's 57 at 2.5, we're sitting above break even at 53% at 3.5.
That's right.
All right, that's exactly what this. Now, that isn't the case if it's moving on information, meaning if a quarterback gets hurt or the weather gets really bad. All of a sudden now the assumptions of the game changes.
Yeah.